Right, UK car production fell to its lowest ever level, am I right? Why?
Yeah, well, not lowest ever, because we didn't make cars in the Stone Age, do we? But...
Well, you know what I mean. All right.
So, lowest car, yeah. Well, let me go through the numbers. I've got some numbers here. So if we can look at the graphic, in 2019, so pre the pandemic, UK car production was 1.3 million, quite chunky. After the pandemic, as we came out of lockdown, 2021, that was heavily down at 860,000 roughly. And now it's down again. These numbers have just come out from the Society of Motor Manufacturing and Traders, 775,000. So that's a good 40% down on the pre-pandemic level.
Nearly half.
Car making in the UK, and that is indeed, Bev, drum roll, the lowest since 1956. So a 70-year low in terms of car production. Why is this happening, Bev? This is happening in part because factories have still not fully rebooted, having been shuttered during part of lockdown. It's happening because in China and parts of Asia, where they make semiconductors, and we have many, many semiconductors in cars these days, lots of electronics, their semiconductor factories still haven't been fully rebooted. It's because of issues ongoing with shipping off the back of the pandemic, getting hold of sheet-rolled steel and so on. Freight costs are very, very high. These are all the reasons why car making in the UK has suffered in recent years. And here's Mike Hawes, who's chief executive of the SMMT, who produced these figures.
Well, obviously the figures are really depressing. You know, it's the worst year since 1956, and that reflects a lot of the volatility in the global industry, but also some structural changes in the UK. We've seen the closure of the Swindon plant, changes of Ellesmere Port from passenger cars to commercial vehicles. We need to get back. We need to get investment in as we move towards electrified future.
Does this mean we're making lots of electric cars, though? Because is that what's happened? No?
We are. We're making a lot fewer cars overall, but the share of electric cars is going up. I've got some numbers on that as well. And viewers and listeners can look on the SMMT website and get more detail if they want it. So last year in 2022, on these new numbers, we made 234,000 either pure battery or hybrid, where you got a battery and an internal combustion engine, or plug-in hybrids, a sort of combination. So 234,000 electric vehicles by broad definition in 2022. That was up 4.5% or 5% on 2021. So that was some progress there. But electric vehicles, and here's the sort of headline number, they now account for over 30%, 30.2% of all UK car production is now electric vehicles. And Bev, that takes us back to a topic you and I have been discussing a fair bit over recent days, that British Volt gigafactory up in Blyth, up in Northumberland, just north of Newcastle, near the Deepwater port in the small town of Camas. You've got this incredible site for a gigafactory making the batteries for those electric vehicles. You want to make the batteries so then you can make the vehicles nearby, securing car making in the northeast. Of course, Nissan's up there, other specialised car makers are up there, but they want that gigafactory to be built precisely because of the growing market for EVs as the government moves in 2030 to ban all new petrol and diesel cars. Here's Mike Hawes again.
Well, what you're seeing is an increasing number of the vehicles made in the UK are electrified, and that's matching what is happening in the market. People increasingly buying electric vehicles, but we need the pace to accelerate, both in terms of those that we sell and those that we make. To do that, we need a structure that encourages that transition, investment in manufacturing, incentives to help purchasing, and above all, for the driver, massive investment in the infrastructure, because what we're seeing is that is not keeping pace with the demand.
We're almost out of time, Liam, but will electric vehicles work? Like, is it a long-term plan? We're not ready in terms of the charging yet.
I don't think we're ready. No. I don't think there are nearly enough battery factories. We're meant to have 10 by 2030 to meet the demand for car making. We can't even get 2. No. That British Volt one up in Blyth would have been the second. And also, there are figures out today, which I'll report later, on how few charging points there are now per cars, because the number of electric cars is growing much faster than the number of charging points.
Can we just put you in charge of it all, Liam? Can you just please just go and just deal with them, just sort out these people who make.
They'd have to make me an offer, but for now I'm busy here.
Don't go anywhere. We need you
at GB News.